Hi, this is Stephanie with a suggestion for you. I wonder if you can allow yourself to come into a nice, comfortable, seated position. And I wonder if I can tell you a story. The story is about a friend who had lost someone very dear to them. And they were really struggling with how to move on. They were feeling so many different feelings they weren't used to feeling, and emotions they weren't sure what to do with. And so we met one day for a chat, and as we sat and they told me their story, it made me realize just how often we go through the grieving process and just how very little support there is for people. And so I was wanting to know her story and wanting to know how I could help. And so she told me about her feelings of anger and how she felt so much rage built up inside of her. She just didn't know what to do with that rage, and she would run and run and run each day like she was trying to escape her feelings of anger. And she was feeling those feelings of anger in her body seeming to be angry with her, and feeling so much pain in her heart and all throughout her body, and how she wondered if she would ever really feel right again. And so as she told me about her anger and the running and how she was trying to escape the feelings, I could see how the pain was just there, always on the surface. And she talked about how the sadness and the longing would creep in, which would, of course, make her angry. And she would run and run, pounding the pavement with her feet and her anger. And sometimes, even in moments of joy and happiness, the anger would come up. How dare she? How dare she feel happy and joyful? And wishing she could share those moments of joy and happiness. And so the anger and the sadness and just feeling an emptiness deep inside of her that she wondered how she would ever fill. And so I wondered how she managed to hold all of that inside of her. And she told me about how one day in particular, she was feeling very angry, and she set out on her run. She could feel the anger fueling her body, pushing her and pushing her, harder and harder. And she ran and she ran, without even realizing where she was running to, without having any idea of what was passing by, so caught up in her thoughts and her feelings that she didn't even realize that she ended up in her special place, the place where she feels most calm. And when she ended up there, she ended there because she had exhausted herself. And so the arriving and the being were in a state of exhaustion. And so she said, I fell to the ground, feeling like I had nothing left to give, like all the anger had left my body and I was just a shell. And she said, I thought at that moment I might not ever get up, that I could just lie there forever and just drift away. And she said at that moment, at that very moment, the sky, the clouds opened up, and a ray of light shone down, and she laughed and said, I know it sounds hokey, I know it sounds crazy, and it sounds like spiritual woohoo, and yet, in that moment when I felt my most alone and my most depleted, the light shone down on me in such a way as to fill me up with energy, and I could feel the warmth of the sun as it warmed my skin and penetrated deep down, almost as if it had magical powers to heal and soothe. And slowly, bit by bit, each part of her body was filled, from her head to her toes, right down to the cells of her body. And she said, it was like I could feel their love and energy inside of me, filling me up entirely. Every part of my being filled with love. And I knew at that point that I had to go on, and that I had to share that light with other people and help them through their journey of loss. And even if she never ever spoke to anyone about that day, even if she hadn't told me and given me permission to share with other people, just the very fact that she was walking in this world and sharing her energy with others helps and heals and shows others that there's a way through this to the other side, whatever that looks like, whatever that may be. But it's a place of hope, and it's a place of joy, and it's a place of healing and warmth. It's a place where we can hang on to all the beautiful memories that we have, and we can hold those memories in our heart and in our soul, and we carry them with us into our lives, and we share that with others. Their beauty and their energy shining through us and shared with the world. And so I invite you to give yourself some grace and love wherever you are on your journey. To know that you can feel love and that joy and pain are all part of the human experience. And without one, there isn't the other. And so we take this knowledge with us, this feeling deep down in our soul that we will feel better, and we'll share that energy with others who are also in pain. And as you feel ready, just let yourself come back to this space, back to your body, wiggling fingers and toes, gentle movements back in. And when you feel ready, and only when it feels right, just let your eyes drift open